Hey my lovely YouTubers, welcome back to my YouTube channel with me, your girl Morgan Tracy J, coming today with another video for our Glow Up Diaries. Okay, I'm so excited to be kind of in the groove of the Glow Up Diaries right now, but I'm actually in the back of my office kind of getting ready because I wanted to shoot a specific video. But while I was getting kind of myself together, I'm like, why don't I actually tell you guys about a story time about a relationship that it really showed me that God don't play about his daughters. Okay, God don't play about you, sis. But I want to tell you this story while I get ready real fast because I got to shoot some content. But I wanted to share the story with you to kind of like help you learn from my experiences. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and put on a little concealer under my eye. It's been a long day, y'all. I'm looking ghosty. I'm looking tired. Okay, so first thing is, let me set the scenery. I was in college, y'all. This is years ago, okay? Y'all don't know this person because I never ever posted this individual. I was in college. It was my senior year. I had been walking with the Lord for a while now. I'm doing ministry on my campus. I am walking in purity. I have been walking in purity for at least 2 to 3 years by this time as I met this individual. So it's my senior year on campus. I do all this ministry stuff and I meet this particular individual on my campus. And honestly, I was just kind of a loner. I was with my like little Christian crew, my couple of friends, but I was really kind of a loner. If I wasn't with that group, I was just in my dorm room or at the caf, but that was about it. So I meet this person on campus or whatever, and he was a really nice guy, and I let him know early on that I was waiting for marriage. I had been waiting for marriage, and that was my plan. And I think I actually should have told him a little too soon. Now, with more time, I don't tell men that early. But anyways, I told him really early on, and he seemed like he was down for it. He was like, I understand, like, you know, respectful. So let me tell you guys, he starts taking me on dates. Granted, we're in college, so our dates are pretty cheap because we're both broke college students, but nonetheless, it was some good fun dates. I started to date again. I actually started to like this person. He actually worked a night job, like delivering gas to different places, I guess. So we would spend time on the phone, like at night. Like we had really great conversations. I was really into him. I began to get really into this individual. Like I was like, oh yeah, like this is my guy. We kind of were exclusive. It was just me and him talking. Like me and him only were dating. Like we made those things really clear. We were pretty exclusive. And we're going a couple months in. And this is why I say this, ladies. Do not do anything with a man. Okay? Like if that ain't your husband, but let alone, even if that's not your standard, let's say you're not even a Christian and you're not waiting till marriage, but let's just say you're just a girl out here dating, at least 6 months. Okay, Lord have mercy, give it 6 months, because what you're going to realize is when you don't put out, the men that are not there for good reason, they can't make it that long. Okay, so anyways, so now we're going about 2-3 months of dating. Okay, still very respectful, never had no issues with him, great guy, go on dates, spend time together on campus, blah blah blah, you know. But I did start to notice that he was really trying to stay the night with me a lot. And I had roommates. It was like a big apartment kind of sorta, and there would be times he would be like, let me just stay, like I want to stay over, can I stay over with you? And I'd be like, no, like it. And I didn't let men be in my room after 10, so it would be like 9:50. I'd be like, you gotta go, sir, like you gotta go. Okay. And he kind of started getting into like a begging stage where he would like beg. And obviously I wouldn't budge. I'd just be like, no, thank you, whatever. So he would leave. Now, granted, let me tell you the story. So we and him talked when he worked at this gas station place, or this gas place. We would talk every night, even between his drop-offs. We would be on the phone call all night long. I started to notice that there was a few nights that he wouldn't call me anymore. And I remember being kind of like, maybe he just got busy with work. Like our conversation started getting less and less, especially in the evening time when we used to do most of our conversing on the phone. Okay. Now this is like 3-4 months in. Okay. So, let me paint the picture. So this is one particular night. He hadn't called me yet. I hadn't really heard from him that much that evening, and he hadn't called me. And so I called him because this is a man I'm exclusive with, right? So I call him and he doesn't answer, and I text him and said, hey, call me back when you get free. or call me back when you get some time. I said something like that. Because I'm figuring he's at work and he might be dropping off a lot of, you know, gas or something and he's busy. I'm assuming that, right? 30 minutes go by. I didn't even get a text from him. And you guys know, like, sometimes I maybe can be a little naive and just kind of the good girl vibe. But I was like, oh, did he even make it to work? Like, is he okay? You know, like, I really was on that. And then kind of hit me like, well, huh. And at this time, he lived a little bit off my campus. He didn't live on campus. He lived a little bit off the campus. I knew where he lived. And so I was like, you know, I might actually just drive by his house. But there was something at first that was like, no, don't, because that's doing too much. Like, you're snooping on him now? Like, that's doing way too much. But you know what I did? It was like 12 o'clock at night. I put on my little sweatshirt, put on some sandals, walked out of my house, got in my car, drove over to this man's house. The man that was supposed to be at work. Drove over to his house. His car is there. And so is another car. A car I've never seen before. There was 2 vehicles at his house. His car too. And all the lights were off throughout the whole house except in his bedroom. The light was off, but you could see that the TV was on, you know, because you could see that light. And I remember I sat out there and everything in me wanted to go knock on that door, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. But I remember I drove back to my dorm room in silence because I really liked this individual. That was the first guy that I had dated in over a year plus. So I was just kind of happy to be dating. I was open to dating. I felt so good in the Lord. Like, oh, the Lord is finally leading me to a good man, right? Okay. All the stuff we tell ourselves. So I'm believing that. And then now I see he's obviously not at work. Haven't heard from him all evening. He's obviously at home with somebody to where he can't call or text me. It's getting sketchy, okay? So you know what I did? I went back home, and that night I barely slept, but I cut all ties with him. And the next morning when I seen my roommate, I let them know I'm done with I didn't tell them what. I need to quit saying his name. I'm going to bleep his name out of here. But I was like, I'm done with the guy. I didn't tell them why I was done with him, but I was like, I'm done with him, and if he comes knocking on the door, just tell him I'm not here. That's all. Just tell him I'm not here. By this time, he hadn't even texted me yet. It's the next morning. I'm headed to class. Still haven't heard from him. It was like I was in the middle of class, and he's like, hey, how you, like he was like, it was a weird message from him. Not even like, hey, sorry, I was overslept. It was just like, it was later on in the morning when we rarely ever text like that, but it was just like, hey, like it was so like it was so dry, and it was so apparent that like he knew he didn't respond back to me all night, didn't talk to him all evening. Like he probably like knew like, oh, she's catching on. Okay, so for like the next 7 days, like the rest of that week, the new week, my roommates keep telling me keeps coming by, he keeps coming by, he keeps coming by, and I'm like, nope. And I truly did everything in my power. I took different routes to campus. I would go eat lunch or breakfast different times because I truly was avoiding him because I knew I was hurt. I knew I had feelings for him, but also I know like a woman's intuition, that gut feeling that was like, get up and go to his house. I had never before that time got up and went to his house like that, you know, but I just had that gut feeling. So anyways, I don't see him probably for about a whole week. He's still texting me, whatever. I'm not responding. I'm just in my own world. Now, the end of like the next week, okay, hadn't seen him. I'm doing fine. I'm in the library. Listen, you guys, this is what I'm telling you. God don't play about us. I'm in the library, I'm studying, and I'm actually studying in an area I never study at because I'm trying to avoid him, okay? So I'm studying in this particular area, like way ducked off in the back. He walks in like he's looking for somebody. Bam, I'm right there. And he's like, man, where have you been? I've been trying to talk to you for weeks. Your roommates keep telling me you're not home. Your car has been there. Like, what is going on? Where have you been? And I kid you not, the first words out of my mouth, I wasn't prepared, it wasn't planned. I said, you're going to embarrass me. And he's like, what? And I was like, you are going to embarrass me. And he was like, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to embarrass you. And I'm like, no, you're going to embarrass what God is doing in my life. You're going to embarrass what God is building in me. Like, you're going to embarrass me. And he swore that he was not. Like, he was like, no, I'm not trying to embarrass you, blah, blah, blah. And I just was like, and I told him, I was like, I don't know what you've been doing. I don't know where you've been. I don't know who you've been with. But you're going to embarrass me, and I can't have that. And so I'm cutting ties and everything. Like, I just let him know, like, I'm not interested anymore or in pursuing anything with you. And it was really awkward for a second there. And I think he was just like, what's going on? And I had to let him know, like, yeah, sir, like, you were not at work. I told him that you were not at work the other, whatever night that was. So you were not at work. And he was just like, he was caught, obviously, and he knew he was caught, and he was just kind of quiet. And then he kind of tried to explain himself, but there was nothing to explain. And so pretty much I got up and left. Okay, that is the end of that story with me and him. Okay, so let me just cut that off, because this one I want to tell you where God don't play about you. Okay, I know you're probably like, girl, where's the story going? Let me tell you. So I cut that off. I end up leaving campus because it's time to graduate in a way. So I leave campus, but even in all those times of not being with him, he would still message me. He would still send me messages, try to contact me. Even after I had moved back into my family's home, and I was like still just trying to build my ministry and working on, you know, kind of what God had for me here, I would still get all these messages from him from time to time about, you know, he wanted to take me out, stuff like that. Obviously, I ignored them. 6 months later, I'm back home. I'm more established. I'm back at my parents' house. I'm not really trying to figure out ministry and life. And one day I get on Facebook, because we were still Facebook friends, and I see that he posts a picture with a little girl. Okay, granted, this is about 6 months, 7 to 8 months, but this little girl ain't no baby. Like, this little girl is like 1 to 2 years old. Okay. He posts a picture of this little girl, and in this picture, people are commenting like, oh wow, she's so pretty. And there's somebody asked, like, is this yours? And he was like, yeah, honestly, I didn't know, but this is my daughter now. Like, he didn't know that that was his child until here recently, and then that's why he posted the photo. And I was so stunned, because when I looked at the little girl's age, when they said how old she was, and then I went back to how long we were talking and dating. And I went back to how long the mama had to carry the baby. It lined up to the time that he was supposed to be with me, or faithful to me, engaging with me only, kind of, sort of. And it made so much sense that the day he came up to that table, and the first words I said was, you are going to embarrass what I'm building. Like, you're going to embarrass me. Even when I said that, I didn't know, like, I just thought it meant like, you're going to embarrass me on this campus. But no, he was really going to embarrass me. And that's why I also feel like, that's why God don't play about us, okay? And I'm so grateful that, like, I took heed to the signs that this man was not very faithful. This man was not really invested the way that I was, and and he wasn't on the same path that I was, as in, even though he told me what he wanted, that wasn't really what he wanted, you know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of us women have been there. And so, yeah, but it was just so mind-boggling when I seen that picture of him and his daughter. When I read the comments, I'm like, that little girl looks kind of older. And when I literally timed it back, it was like a year and some change. I'm like, oh, hold on. But he didn't know about the child. But regardless, that would have embarrassed me, because he would have had the child on me, so to speak. Okay? If I would have stuck around for that. And so I am just sharing this with you, ladies, is that, now, I'm not the one to tell you to get up in the middle of the night and go to your man's house. I'm not the one to tell you that. I was young. That's different. But what I am to tell you is, pay attention to the signs of folk, okay? Just pay attention to the signs. Don't ignore signs. Don't be like, oh, like, they could never. Like, no, pay attention, girl. Not to tell you to be hypersensitive, but just to be aware of things that could happen. And also, too, when God is guiding you and leading you, make sure that you pay attention to the things that feel different in you. I just want to share this with you. Girl, God don't play about you, okay? And that's just real talk. He don't play about you. And sometimes we play about ourselves, but God doesn't play about you. And so he will help you on your journey. That guy was a decent guy, but he just wasn't my guy. And I had to see that through certain actions and time. Now, I will say this. My biggest thing and blessing was that I never did anything with that individual, right? Never did anything inappropriately with that individual. And so that right there kind of protected me, that when I got to walk away, it was kind of easy. Now, granted, did I miss him for some days? Did I want to be talking to him in the beginning and like getting text messages from him still? Yeah, of course, I missed that. But the biggest part was like, I knew something foul, something had gone on that did not align to the man that was for me. I knew that. I knew that the man that was for me was going to be faithful, okay? Period, point blank. And that's the bare minimum, okay? Like, faithfulness is the bare minimum. And I knew that the man for me was going to be that. Let me spray my face real quick. Okay, so that is that. I just wanted to share that with you because I sometimes forget that God really don't be playing about us. And if you probably have your own experiences where you watched God protect you. And I feel like the alignment was literally in the moment when I'm like, you're going to embarrass me. And then it's a year later and I'm seeing all these things come out and I'm like, oh yeah, he would have definitely embarrassed me. Like, it's just so confirming. And so I just want to tell you that today, girl. Like, we've all been through our fair shares of relationships, highs and lows and all that. But the biggest thing I want to tell you is honor yourself. Listen to your intuition. Listen, Linda, okay? Listen to that feeling that's like, ugh, it feels yucky, feels not too well, that you need to address something. You need to go figure things out. You need to pray about. Listen to those feelings because those will really help you on this journey of life, okay? So ladies, thank you guys so much. This is a random story time. I'm going to go and shoot a whole nother video now. But I just wanted to do this random story time for you. For all my ladies, I just want you to know God does not play about you, okay? I'll see you in my next one.